Oh, Mineola Nature Preserve truck was like, what is he doing? I'm just like, looking up, like, hey. Welcome back to M. Hood Discovered, everybody. Yeah, you're right. So this creek's been flowing through here a long time, and it's going down into a nature preserve, right? That hasn't been really developed. People have tried to do things in there. You know, the caddos were living in there for a long time, living in this area. But after the caddo, after settlement, there was a timber boom, right? And I think a bit of that was happening down in there where we're going to go. I want to follow this creek, but I'm not going to be able to, but I'm going to be able to. So today's video is about geographical archaeology, and we're not so much going to be talking about the caddo period for this woods here. We're going to talk about the last 100 years, pretty much. A little, well, over 100, last 150 years. From the late 1800s, would be like 19th century, going on through the 20th century till about 1958. Things ceased, right? By the 50s, it was all done. The rail line that was going through here was abandoned. No more timber boom. It's a timber bust. But I think there was some agricultural attempts on this side of the road, maybe people running cattle here and there, because there are clearings, and I think they're clear-cut clearings from when they were pulling timber out of here. But if you come along this road, you'll notice you're kind of on a hill, but we're slumping down right here, and the creek is flowing through, right? But the land is rising, so we're kind of on a ridge line, sort of. The land is all sloping down towards the river, towards the Sabine River, which is where this creek is going to terminate. And it's not far away, but it's a distance. And when you come here, all this higher land up here where we're at, on this ridge, has been settled. It's either very modern settlement, or people were working this land. There's evidence of people working this land going a long time ago, beginning of settlement, right? But there are definitely subdivision type houses out here now, in places where people back then wouldn't have put a house, because it's way too up on a ridge where you get hit by the wind. It's just not the best place to put a homestead, because yeah, they're not homesteads, they're just houses where people live now. But yeah, we're gonna get back off in there, and we're gonna get confused by some things. You can see right here a bit of a wing dam someone put in. It's modern. It's poured concrete with rebarb. And then as we get down there, we're gonna see some other things that we're gonna have to make sense of. I've tried to do research, and I've gotten like not far. I have no idea who was doing what and what they were doing and when, but people were doing stuff and they left things behind. And I haven't been able to figure out the story. And that's how it is sometimes with archaeology, with the landscape. So I'm on designated horse trail. Not my favorite to ride, because horse trails are always super bumpy. I haven't been back here in a while, So I apologize if I get lost, but this gives me the advantage to get back here behind where this creek is. We're down towards it. I believe this trail will take me to the creek, but it's not the part of the creek I really want to be taken to. I feel like I'm taking too much time coming down here. I've seen this bit of woods here just totally underwater, not like 10 feet, but like a foot. And there are bits and pieces down here where it's lower than where I'm walking, and they will hold water too for longer. This, I don't know where this goes. Wow, someone probably telling me it's going that way, because it's definitely going that way. But so this land is slumping, right? And here's where that creek comes into a slough. This is a low point in the land right here. I could have took the bike back here, but I didn't know what to expect, so I decided to walk. I wasn't sure how far this was. Okay, there's water over there. So yeah, that creek feeds this low area here, this slough. It's kind of like a pond, right? It's probably associated with beavers. It's natural. I don't think anyone created this. I think this was just a natural beaver pond that has seen better days because someone else did something, and that may have caused issues, but we might just be looking at the effects of a drought here. There is water held over there. Looks like a mud party to get to it. I'm not going to it. I'm gonna get back on the bike. As I'm walking through here and looking around, I don't see evidence jumping out at me that says logging. It says timber boom or bust. But one thing I do see is a lot of these trees are not old growth. They're like this one here is older than most of what's around it. There's a lot of younger trees in here, a lot of them. Most of these trees around me right now aren't the trees people were looking for. Our timber boom back then was cedar and pine. We still have logging in this area, but not like we used to. All right, I'm happy that I found this slough. Now I need to find the trail that I know. This is interesting. These trails back here. See how it's nice and cleared? Wide, like roads, right? Let's cut through here. So, who did that? How long ago? And why? Or were these just created? Wow, it's like a maze here. Were these just created when the preserve was created? This preserve is not that old. It's a little over 20 years, 20 something years old. 2001, 2002. We're definitely stuck in the maze. Maybe that's what this is. And here's where things get interesting. We get out of that maze and look at this. This is what I wanted to come look at. People who fish would be like, you're crazy. If you knew that was like that, why'd you go down there? Because I know a lot more than what I lead on. Yeah, you're right. So let me figure out how to get down in here. So this is not a natural ditch. I find this very interesting. This is where it starts. You can see natural waterway flow through here, right? Water naturally flows through there and possibly here, right? There's no reason for this to get naturally dug out right here. This is not natural. And see, it goes for a long ways. And look, ditch and bank. This is built up. This side is not. This is a little bit back on the property from the main road. And this is going downhill towards the river right here. This does appear to be layered. Sometimes bar ditches are not always about the road that runs along them, or not 100%. Sometimes they would pull material from one place for another place that's far away. But a lot of times the bar ditches along roads, it's about two things: drainage and building up the roadbed. That might be what's up. The roadbed is built up. Definitely. This is not natural. But why? Why? Is this here for a particular reason? Did they need this? I think they wanted to strengthen that road. And all that mazy trail stuff where I just about got lost up there leads to this built up road that just leads off into nowhere. It just goes deeper into the preserve. But this is almost straight, like Romans built it. Is this about the logging industry? Could be. Someone could have been running cattle here, could have been doing other things, but logging is definitely on my mind. Right here we have a double post. So this is a corner of a property or gate, because we have another heavy-duty post over here. We may have had a double post situation there too to hold the tension. There may have been a gate here at one time. All right, let's go down the road. When that creek is flowing really good, and other things that flow through this area we're in, it puts water in here. Where I showed you is not the only place that water comes in. There's no place I remember on this side of the road that water comes into this canal or this ditch. Most of it's coming from that side of the road, the lower side. You can see here's a place where it gets fed naturally. Let's go down in here. Yeah, I don't think this was done by the Caddo for sure. It's too Roman. Pretty sure this is something. It's probably about 100 and something years old. This ditch. People with horses have been coming through here, and you can see the tracks. Probably a lot of pigs and deer. There's a lot of nature down here, but there's no woo-ba-woo. This is my least favorite style of trail. Horse trails. Oh my goodness. If you got lower back problems, it wouldn't be the day to come do this. Oh, bumpy, bumpy, bouncy, bouncy. So, just gonna stop to say what I want to say. Humans have been building banks and ditches, ramparts and the like, just earthworks in general, for thousands upon thousands of years. And even though this one I don't think is that old, I see it as an earthwork. It's more of a utilitarian one than anything else. But there's no explanation of who was down here and what they were doing. Not one that's written anywhere that I have found yet. But sometimes it just isn't. And you're left with something out in the middle of nowhere to scratch your head about. Some people may think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a road in the woods. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because there's so much history in this area already. And some of that history is just hiding in plain sight. Some of it's boring, like banks and ditches, but what did I say? We've been building banks and ditches for thousands and thousands of years. Other side of this bank is kind of cool. And what's down in it? Probably not cool, probably really warm, but it's wet. I found where the water is. But look, this other side, there's a game trail running on it. See how it's kind of bare and worn? See that straight line? It's kind of just about straight. Right through there. Starts over here. The critter comes in towards the bank right there, curving in. Comes along there, keeps going, goes up into that thicket. Okay, so let me ride this bumpy stuff and I'll get back at you. We're gonna get down here to the end or damn near. That other bank is starting to look really cool. Look how nice and open it is all of a sudden over there. So as I get further down this ditch, it's starting to look a lot healthier. It's getting a little wider. It's doing what I remember it doing. And there's a reason why it's looking better and better, is because someone's down here taking care of it. Well, they're not gonna come out and make a appearance in the video. They're quite shy. Well, we got right here, I believe some live. There's a beaver lodge right here. Still real shallow though, but thanks to the beaver, there's water here. They've been peeing in it though. I'm getting really close to the end and close to the area I like fishing. But here you can see just how built up this is. That this is in fact a built up road, and that is probably the bar ditch, because the altitude of the bank over there and the altitude down there are about the same, and this is different. Why did they need such a built up road? Well, this is a floodplain. Maybe they needed a road that wouldn't flood so quick. Maybe it was about buying time. Probably this is about logging. Someone could have gone to this trouble when they were running cattle for a while, if they were down here. But I would say logging industry still is a better bet. We're down at the end. Well, this road we were walking on curves here away from the ditch, going off into the woods here. But this is where the bar ditch ends, not the road. This is where it goes back to natural, back to its natural slough, natural order, where it continues. Oh, there's fish moving here. Looks like fall. Wanted to get a better look at the natural bit that this bar ditch flows into. There's almost no water here. It's like fairly ending here. I mean, technically it doesn't, but look, that's super skinny. I may never get a clear-cut explanation for why that bar ditch is there and who built it and who was using it, but my assumptions bound to be correct. Highly likely it had something to do with the timber boom. If that's not true, it's agricultural stuff, right? Someone was doing something down in here. Whoever they were, hats off to them. Super glad they built it, because I like to fish it, especially when there's more water. But it's still interesting today. Thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all next time.